All right. My name is Samuel Jackson. This is my oral presentation. My topic of choice was inkjet printing. So let's get started. All right. To start off, I have this pretty simple diagram up of the droplet effect of the inkjet printer. This is basically when you can see the droplet gun, the electron gun, and a parallel plate capacitor, which we learned about in class, as well as a gutter leading to paper. Basic gist is we're going to go through each of these parts, go through how they lead to ink on paper and how electromagnetics is used. All right. So here we're going to talk about the droplet gun and electron guns. Those are the two parts you see on the left. This is plural, of course, because modern printers and even printers when they were made didn't just use one droplet gun and one electron gun. They could use 30, 40, 60 plus, depending on the size of the printer and how much you're printing. Basically what's going on here is the droplet gun is what regulates the ink coming through. And then the electric gun, usually per droplet gun, is shooting a negative electron charge at this ink. This is going to serve to when it goes through the capacitor, which we're going to get through. But yeah. All right. Here's kind of where the magic happens. This is after the electron gun shoots the ink. We have this parallel plate capacitor, which we went over in class. You know, of course, the smaller parallel plate capacitor, the more charge it's going to have, the more voltage. Anyway, what this parallel plate capacitor is going to do, it's often called a deflecting capacitor here. It has a gutter on the positive end of the capacitor. This is because these electrons are going to go through this capacitor and negatively charged ones are going to deflect and get caught in this gutter. This is what determines what goes through and makes it to the page and what doesn't and is recirculated into the printer, which we're going to go over in the next slide. All right. Colored printers and excess ink. So now that we've determined how the capacitor works, has the electric field created in between it. Questions I had at least were how did color printers work and what was going on with the excess ink. So what I found out is colored printers, they would have their own droplet gun. They basically, some of them had a cartridge that had all of the colors you need in it. More complex ones would make you have to replace each color. And what's going on here is they have their own droplet gun. They each get negatively charged as needed, and they could mix together. But what I was curious about was would this affect the charge of them? And what I found out is the charge wasn't affected by the color. And then other question is excess ink because as you saw from the previous slide, if it was negatively charged, it would deflect into the gutter, and then that gutter recirculates ink. So only the required amount of what you're looking to put on the page is used, and the rest is recirculated into the printer. And here's just my references page. I have a few older articles in there to get a more basic reflection of an inkjet printer. But overall, main takeaways here are the capacitor is what we went over in class, the electric field between there, and how it reacts with the negative charges going through it, the negatively charged ink, and whether it deflects them or not.